Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Starting off with the vehicle sitting here behind me, this is of course the Ocelot XA21, which is a removed vehicle. However, it is back in the game this week and it is discounted by 30% off, and it's found within the LS car meet amongst a few other removed vehicles, which is pretty cool. The XA21 I would say is the best sounding supercar in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. It has a similar sound to the Lampadati Komoda as well as the Ocelot Jugular. So if you're familiar with either of those sounds, this thing sounds the exact same but in supercar form. It's all-wheel drive, it's got some really nice customization, it's pretty good looking. Overall, it's definitely something that I would recommend looking into this week for sure if you're in the market for a new supercar that also sounds great and drives really well. But before we get into anything else to do with discounts or supercars or anything like that, we got to go over how to make some money this week in Grand Theft Auto Online, and we do have a few bonuses on our hands. To start things off, we have double money and double RP on animal photography in GTA Online. Now this is only available for those of you on Xbox Series S and X or PlayStation 5 or on the next gen version of GTA Online. So if you guys are interested, you could take advantage of that, although it's not what I would necessarily recommend doing this week. But if you want to challenge yourself, it is available to do that, I guess. This week, we also have double money and double RP on Overtime Rumble. Now, Overtime Rumble is a pretty cool game mode in GTA Online. It is, of course, an adversary mode, and it is basically like darts, but with cars. You use the Runa 2000 and use the parachute ability and land on certain areas to score a certain amount of points, and based on how many points your team gets, you will win or you will lose, and you will get according money for those two things. It's actually very fun. I would highly recommend trying this out if you have never tried it out before. Last but not least, we have double money on bail enforcement income in the form of your officers that you can send out to go and collect imaginary bail targets. They usually come back with like 5 or 10k. Now they're going to come back with 10 to 20k. Kind of a really mid bonus, not gonna lie, but it's something, I suppose. So yeah, awesome. Anyways, now we got to talk about the discounts going on this week in online, and we do have a few on the website. So we're going to go ahead and start off here under the Benny's Original Motor Works website. Going into the stock here, you will find that the Bravado Yuga is not discounted, but the upgrade into the 4x4 variant that you can do at Benny's, that will look something like this, is discounted by 40% off this week. So if you do want to upgrade this or get one of these this week, now is a good time to do so because you can upgrade it for a lot cheaper. This thing's actually pretty fun. It's got a pretty wide stance. It's relatively good for off-roading and stuff like that. I think it looks pretty cool, and it's definitely a pretty unique vehicle, and being that it's got Benny's customization, it has quite a bit of stuff that you can actually do to it. I would definitely recommend getting a Bravado Yuga 4x4 this week in GTA Online. On Elitist Travel and Transport, the Alpha Z1 is discounted by 30% off this week in GTA Online. I do believe this is the fastest non-weaponized plane in Grand Theft Auto Online in terms of top speed, but it also has pretty good acceleration as well. It's highly maneuverable, but unfortunately it is not armable, which does kind of suck. But it is a really cool plane. It's super fast. It's really fun to fly. I would recommend it if you guys are interested. I don't think it's a necessary purchase, but if you want a fast little light plane that doesn't have any, armaments on it or anything, this could be a good option for you. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if you want it, then, it is discounted. Next up on Legendary Motorsport, under the 4-door section, you'll find that the Ubermacht Rebla GTS is discounted this week. This is one of the faster SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online, and being that it's discounted by 30% off, you kind of can't really go wrong with purchasing one. It's also got some of the best customization for any vehicle in GTA Online, but especially in the SUVs category, this thing has tons that you can do to it, and I think it looks really good. For $822,500, you really can't go wrong. This thing's fast in a straight line. It has really good handling, great customization, just generally great looks. Overall, I would say that I do recommend a Rebla GTS this week for sure. On Warstock Cash and Carry, we also have a discount on the Vapid Stanier LE Cruiser. This is 30% off this week as well, so if you do want one, this is a pretty sizable discount, and do keep in mind, you do get access to dispatch work by owning a police car now. So this will pay you $25k a time, and it takes maybe about 5 minutes, so you could eventually pay this off. Not saying it's really worth it or a good investment at all, but if you're interested, that is a possibility. Last but not least, here on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, under the two-door section, we have the Karen Futo GTX, which has drift tuning available for it, discounted by 30% off. Costing just over $830,000, this thing is not that great of a car outside of drifting. With drifting, it's really good, but regularly it is not a very good vehicle. It does have a ton of customization because it was part of the Los Santos Tuners DLC, which was a really good DLC customization wise as well as content wise. But the Karen Futo GTX really doesn't do anything special at all, other than when it has the drift tuning modification on it. When it does, it is definitely one of the best drift cars in the entire game, in my opinion at least. Finally, under the luxury tab on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we have the Declasse Granger 3600 LX available this week for 30% off. Now for this price, this is the cheapest Amani Tech capable vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. So if you do want an Amani Tech capable vehicle, as long as you have the trade price, this is the cheapest you can possibly get. It also has all-wheel drive and some pretty nice customization. The only problem is it's almost exactly the same speed as the Granger 3500, which has been in the game since 2013 and that is this thing's older brother. So do with that information what you will. I must say this looks a lot better. But for $1,050,000, this thing is kind of a steal, not gonna lie. Alright, so that's it for the discounts I can show you from here. Now we gotta go to the casino as well as the car meet and then check out all the dealerships as well. Within the casino, we have the Declasse Drift Yosemite available to be won this week. This thing also has the drift tuning modification available for it. Although it's not the greatest drift tunable vehicle of all time, it is still cool. And if you can win it for free, you kind of really can't go wrong with it. Pretty cool vehicle, lots of customization. Overall, I would definitely say to try to win it. Within the LS car meet, the prize ride for the week is the Vapid Dominator GTX, and it is a complete pile of garbage, unfortunately. It's got really nice customization as well as it is a really good looking vehicle, but unfortunately it has engine resistance, and engine resistance, basically all you need to know is it makes a car way slower than it actually should be. Really late gear shifts, everything like that. So this thing's quite slow, like very badly slow, I would say. Now, the other thing that you need to know is that in order to win it, you're going to have to place first for 3 days in a row. It is available for $725,000 on Southern San Andreas Super Autos as well. So, pretty cool vehicle, but I don't necessarily recommend trying to win it this week because you can get it for pretty cheap and it's not that good. These are the vehicles within the LS car meet. One of them is of course the XA21 that I mentioned earlier. We also have the Dubachi Massacre race car as well as the Annis S80RR on top of that. Now the XA21 as well as the S80 are both discounted this week, so let's see how much these are going to cost. The XA21 is $1,662,500, and for the Annis S80RR, it is $1,802,500. Both of these vehicles are vehicles that I would recommend picking up this week. I think that they are both worth owning. The S80 is still one of the fastest supercars in the game, and in racing, it can definitely come in handy to have it for sure. Pretty cool vehicle. The XA21, like I said at the start of the video, it's all-wheel drive, sounds absolutely amazing, looks really good. You can't really go wrong with purchasing either of these cars, and I would definitely recommend to try to get both of them this week if you can, and they are of course both removed vehicles. Now, so is the Dubachi Massacre race car, and it is slightly faster than the regular Massacre, but only by a tiny margin. The Massacre race car is a cool car. I can't necessarily recommend it because I like the Massacre itself so much better, but the race car variant is pretty cool too, so if you're interested in it, I would say it is worth picking up. Within Simeon's dealership, we do have a couple of removed vehicles like the Annis Silvestre here. This thing goes for $990,000, so if you guys are interested, you can purchase it for that price, except it's going to be a little bit more because it comes with delivery, I've just realized. So just over $1 million. I wouldn't necessarily say to purchase this car unless you are a really big fan of these, but it's not really going to do anything special for you performance-wise or even really customization-wise. Still a cool vehicle, just not the best. We also have the Declasse Lifeguard here as well, which you can purchase. This is technically a Pegasus vehicle, so I don't really recommend getting it here, especially when you can just get it on Warstock. Now we also do have the Volcar Nebula Turbo, another drift tunable vehicle. This thing is still in the game though, you can buy it anytime you want, so keep that in mind as well. Next up, of course, we have the Western Cliffhanger as well as the BF Bifta. The Cliffhanger is a really cool looking bike, and how much does it cost? Let's see, 225 grand, a little steep for my liking. The Boti 801 will outperform it, but it is pretty cool looking, so do keep that in mind for sure. Of course, the BF Bifta, really cool OG car, based off the Myers Manx, I do believe it is, and this thing is pretty fun off-road. I would say that I do recommend picking it up, and it is really cheap, only 75 grand for this. You kind of really can't go wrong with it. Of course, luxury autos is mid as usual. We have the 1500 and the X32 available here. Please, for the love of God, Rockstar, do something about this. Give us something cool at luxury autos, a removed vehicle, something, anything, but yeah, I doubt it'll happen. Within the chop shop, these are the vehicles that can be stolen this week. Starting off with the Pegasi Ignis, you're going to need to complete the Gangbanger robbery. You're going to need to do the Duggan robbery for the Albany VSTR, and of course the Podium robbery for the Karen Previon. Of course, last but not least, we have the time trials. Your RC Bandito time trial for today is Cypress Flats. Your Junk Energy time trial for today is Mirror Park. Your regular time trial is Lake Vinewood Estates, and your HSW time trial starts up here by the restaurant and ends all the way down in the Palomino Highlands, right at the end of this road. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Consider subscribing to my channel. If you guys are new, I'm going for 300k this year and I need your help to get there, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.